Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks again for watching. In this video, I'm going to talk about a couple more ads from the 1800s, two short ones. And what these two ads have in common is they both use two-word headlines to grab attention in two different ways. So starting off with the first ad, this one is from 1840, actually 180 years ago. This looks like a small classified ad that would be in a newspaper, and it has the two-word headline, "Not stolen," with an exclamation point. The broadcloths, which are selling so much under their value at Waddles & Co., were bought at auction. So this one uses this headline, "Not stolen," to grab some attention and also raise curiosity. Now, normally I would say in these classified typed ads, what you would see is something more like saying stolen, hey, someone stole this thing from me, keep an eye out, or I'm looking for this, or wanted. But to say not stolen, that's attention getting, and it's curiosity provoking, and it's showing someone something that they don't expect. So they have to read on to figure out what's happening. Now, they're just selling cloth basically to make clothing out of. But in the next sentence, they set up the offer and they tie the headline into a reason why the offer is being made. So they say they have clothes and they say that they're selling them at under their value, which means at a discounted price. And they tell the name of the store where people can get it. And they explain that the cloth was bought at auction. And that's why they can sell it at such a low price, not because it was stolen. So this is definitely like a clever kind of witty type of ad, but in a two-word headline and then a sentence afterwards, it packs a lot of punch. And they're able to get attention, make their offer, give a concise reason why, and wrap it all in an entertaining and humorous type of ad. For a classified ad, I would say that's about as much as you can ask for. And I think whoever wrote this ad should be writing Facebook ads or other short form ads, because what he did here would work just as well today, I would say. Now, moving on to the next ad here. This one is from 1845. This again looks like another classified type ad, a small ad in a newspaper. And it has the two-word headline, "Sore nipples." I'll just read the ad copy here. "Sore nipples. Dr. A.C. Castle, 297 Broadway, says he has known Sherman's papillary oil cure the worst cases in a short time where everything else failed. The Honorable B.B. Beardsley's lady suffered for 6 weeks with sore nipples. Her physician tried everything his skill could devise. She thought she should lose them when a friend recommended Sherman's papillary oil. She tried it and was immediately relieved and perfectly cured in 5 days. This invaluable article is for sale at 106 Nassau Street, 643 Broadway, New York, and at 139 Fulton Street, Brooklyn." Okay, so the two-word headline here, "Sore nipples," is obviously calling out the target market, people who would be interested in a product for sore nipples. However, I have to say that whether this was made 180 years ago or even today, the two words "sore nipples" definitely garner a lot of attention. So even though this headline is basically calling out the intended target market, it's also in itself inherently pretty attention-getting. That's why they didn't say, "Hey, do you have sore nipples?" or "Do you suffer from sore nipples?" All you have to say is "sore nipples," right? It gets the attention. You don't need to fancy it up any more than that. It goes on to give a doctor's, basically a short little testimonial, if you want to call it, or a recommendation, saying that it cures the worst cases in a short time where everything else failed. So it begins right off the bat with a proof kind of statement coming from a doctor saying that this thing works. Now, of course, using the word cure and everything nowadays definitely wouldn't fly. I mean, a lot of things in these old ads wouldn't fly today, but it's really worth checking out what they were doing and how they did it. So after the little recommendation from the doctor, oh, and what does the doctor say about it? He says it cures it in a short time and where everything else failed, right? So this doctor is saying it's not being said by the brand, the company, it's being said by a doctor. That's where they're getting that credibility of the statement from, is the fact that this guy's a doctor. And they even give his address. So he's apparently a real guy. Then it goes on to give a little description of someone's wife, the Honorable B.B. Beardsley, who must have been someone notable, something that would get the attention of the person reading and have them nodding, going, "Oh, I know who that is," and create a bit of familiarity with the reader. They go on to basically do a problem agitation solution construction here of saying this lady suffered for 6 weeks, right? That's the problem with sore nipples. Agitation. Her physician tried everything his skill could devise, right? Even more extreme agitation. She thought she should lose her nipples, when solution, a friend recommended Sherman's papillary oil. She tried it and was immediately relieved and perfectly cured in 5 days. So that there is kind of echoing what the doctor said earlier. It cures the worst cases in a short time, where everything else failed. This is a bit of an echo of that statement, saying she was immediately relieved and perfectly cured in 5 days, showing that not only is there immediate relief, but this also works over a long time. So packing in another benefit of this product, it's not just for immediate relief, even though that is what most people would want. There's also the added benefit that with continued use, it's going to actually cure this whole scenario. And then it ends with a little call to action, basically saying this invaluable article is for sale at these locations. So in these two ads, they actually gave the location where the product was able to be bought. So that's a step ahead of the first hair renewer ads that we looked at. And take another look at this ad, particularly just how the structure of it works. It's an attention-getting headline that calls out the specific target audience. It leads into a strong proof element in the form of a type of social proof, in that it's a testimonial style statement, and also a bit of authority in that it's coming from a doctor, which is intended to be a credible source and someone who's going to add some trust, someone whose opinion can be trusted. Then it goes on to do this problem agitation solution and finishes with where the product can be found. So whether you're studying how to write short Facebook ads today, even emails, you can look at what was happening over 180 years ago. You can see a lot of the same techniques, maybe not being executed in the same way, but definitely the similar strategies and formats. And I think these types of ads, if they were just updated, using a more modern type of language, and of course following modern legal rules, you don't want to get yourself in trouble, but updating the language and just modernizing this, you wouldn't have to change much else. The framework, the structure, the strategies are all pretty solid, even though they were being used over 180 years ago. And they've been in use in newspapers and other forms of advertising for at least over 180 years.